Yeah, let's get ready to rock for another weekend of cracking racing action. We're just 3.5 weeks away now from the festival, and we're getting towards those final festival with their clues.
You
Even
are? Hello?
yeah. So right, it's good job it's not live. At Ascot, Haydock and Wincanton this weekend. It's a good racing over in Ireland at Garran as well. But we are closing in, boys. We've got a couple of festival clues to look forward to this weekend, Frankie.
It's a decent weekend, actually. After saying last week that maybe we'd had the last of the fun before the festival because the good horses get tucked away, I think there's some value to be found this weekend. Nice couple of handicaps to have a go at and good racing at Ascot with the Ascot Chase. It's quite a nice weekend of racing, I think.
Value to be found, he says, John. He must be having some second favourites this weekend.
Too right. I'm thinking about that. Maybe an odds against. I think, to be fair, all three of us are going to probably be really boring this week and agree on a few. I think there's a couple of standouts this weekend. And I think if we're all on the same page, we're going to Barbados or Bridgington or Bognor.
I've gone rogue this weekend. There's some big prices to come, boys.
You're right. You always do, Frankie. A few weeks before Cheltenham comes, you start getting your arrows out and just going.
Let's see where it lands. Right. Well, this is going to be an each-way race. The opener is at the 1:15 at Ascot. We're over 3 miles, and we've got a short price favourite in Betfred. I'll be very likely race. Nicky Henderson, Nico de Bois. We've not been seen for 10 months, though. And then it's around about 7-1 bar, that one. So a wide open opener. Frankie, where's the value in the first?
I like Malta Bene for Charlie Longston. I think he's a trainer to follow when he's in form. Or any trainer in form is one to follow, but particularly he seems to go through really good and really bad spells. And if you catch the yard when they are firing, he seems to pick up quite a few winners, in a bunch. Malta Bene, she ran in that race at Cheltenham. I'm surprised she's the price she is because everybody's talking about the form of this race. That Wadho won. Joyous obviously bolted up at Newbury. Take No Chances has come out and won. Royal Margot, that Joel tipped up at 25s, has won. That's the top 4 in the race that Malta Bene came 7th in, but only 6 and a quarter length 7th. So she wasn't miles away. Okay, she did pull up with some respiratory issues last time, but provided she's back on song and the yard being in good nick means that I think she will. I'd say it's a great little each way bet in the opener. I think Malta Bene could have a right chance here.
Lily Pinchin on board as well, of course, does a few favours in the past, Joel.
Hardy fella, really like the jockey booking here, Harry Cobden. He's starting to ride for Emma Lavelle quite a bit. I think they're on a 30% strike rate, something like that. Obviously, he's looking for winners because he ain't going to get them at Nichols, is he? So if he wants to keep his hand in the £500 million pot, he's got to be getting some good rides. I really like this. Easy win 10 days ago, up 5 for that, a market raisin, 5-length winner. Still well handicapped, I think. And one just to have a little look at, which is a bigger price, is Bertie B. With Lewis Saunders claiming 7. Richard Patrick had a very quiet ride in it last time out. Lewis Saunders takes off the 7. I think it might be one of the outsiders of the field around 22, 25 to 1, something like that. But the best one would be Hardy fella for me. Pretty much because of
prices in the opener.
Interesting. Going big early. Right. Not sure he's going to go big, though, in the Reynolds Town at 150. There's only 5 to choose from. We've got Nicky Henderson, Unbeaten Chase, and Jingo Blue. Lowry's Bar coming here. They're talking maybe the Ultimate could be his destination at the festival. Joel.
It was a good little race last time, wasn't it? I couldn't quite decide what might have happened if Lowry's Bar didn't fluff the last. I don't know what you think, Joel. It's one of those, isn't it? Jinko Blue could have still a fair bit under the bonnet, or he could have got found out. We don't really know because Lowry's Bar clattered the third last.
Yeah, third last. I thought Lowry's Bar would have won that. They were off levels that day. Today, there's a weight pull. I think it's £5, isn't it? I really like Lowry's Bar here. I've been really impressed. It's one of those things that you mention every week. So if you watch every week, I say the same stuff. The Hobbs and White solicitors firm, Philip Hobbs was pretty much gone. As a kid, he was mustard. Got together with Mr. White, and Michael Nolan's been riding so well. I think Lowry's Bar would have won last time, but everybody's got their own opinion. 11-8 versus 11-4. Lowry's Bar, very, very strong. It was a 3-runner race last time out, and Johnny Who didn't turn up that day. Still one for the notebook, still one for the tracker. Lowry's Bar, it's a value play, but also if it was favourite, I'd be backing it.
Okay then, Lowry's Bar for you. And obviously we've got the added interest of Peaky Boy. Used to be with Nicky Henderson. A switch been bought by Martin Tedham, and runs for, they're now the O'Neill Racing Team, obviously ex-Henderson against Jinko Bush. Does that throw into the mix as well, Frankie?
Yeah, I guess so. They were definitely disappointed when he was beaten at Cheltenham, weren't they? He looked good when he won that novice chase, and I think they thought, right, now step him up to 3 miles, and he could be something quite special. It didn't work out. He's changed yards. He's a nice horse. I'm going to throw the changing man into the mix here, though. It's a 5-runner race, and we've managed to mention 4 of them, so hopefully one of them wins. I just feel like potentially, his experience around here might help him out. He's come second in handicaps, and right, he is a handicapper, but he was giving a lot of weight away when beaten by 2 of those 3 seconds, and the other was second to Victorino, who's brilliant around here. And it stands out in my mind that Charlie Deutsch got off Victorino and said that the changing man wouldn't go away, and he did run a big race. They pulled miles clear of 3rd. Maybe he's not good enough, coming up against graded horses, but his experience might play. He's off level weights with most of them and gets a bit of weight from Jinko Blue. He might just have a chance here to finally get his head in front.
Okay, and the changing man, yes, up from Handicap Company, but he has got, as you say, got loads of experience. Right, I'm looking forward to this. 2:25, big field, 2.5 mile handicap hurdle, and I know exactly what Joel is going to say. I'll let you take the stage first.
This is either nap of the season or the worst bet you will ever have in your life. Joya Machan, former Paul Nolan, was second to what was it called? The not Quavega, what was the Facel Vega at Leopardstown, and then I backed it at a huge price for the Cheltenham bumper, and I think it was pulled up. Not really done a lot since. Formerly with Paul Nolan, has come over here to go with Desperate Dan Skelton. As a 3 runs so far. The first one was a big price. Handbrake Harry was on that day and was never dangerous. Last time out, the kid, Harry Atkins, was on. He was claiming the 7. If you haven't watched this back, there's not a lot the kid could have done. He was trying to anchor the horse out the back, and the horse went, hello, I'm a bit better than you think I am. And then was sizing through the field. And Harry Atkins felt like he had to make a little bit of effort on that horse. I thought, no one's noticed this. Nobody has noticed this. Even the Racing Post put eye catcher. I don't know if this is the plan. That's the thing. The winner, 26 grand here. Harry Skelton wants to extend that 500 grand pot. Or are we looking at, Martin Pipe or something like that? I don't know. If today is the day at 9-2, this has got to be nap of the season, or is it going to be out the back and then picks up a big pot at Cheltenham? That's where I am with this. At the minute, I'm going suitcase full.
Well, it's the first time Harry's been on it since he came over, but also, if he goes on handicap any further, he might not get into one of those Cheltenham races. So it could be that this is the plan. You've been talking about this all week on the group thread. Frankie, have you been swayed by Joel this week, or are we going elsewhere?
I haven't, just because I find these horses really frustrating to follow there. I guess he comes into the bracket of a Twitter horse, doesn't he? Or an X horse, I should say, when, the Racing Post finish their notes with eye catcher. The race replay gets tweeted for the whole week. He goes around the WhatsApp chats. He goes off relatively short and doesn't always play out. If you backed him earlier in the week at a bit of a better price, best of luck to you. I just don't think I'm brave enough to follow in. Although I can certainly see the case. He might win. I'm trying to find a little bit of value against him, something at a bigger price. La Pinsonniere for Nikki Henderson and Nico de Boinville. She's got an entry in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. We don't know loads about her. She's only had 2 starts since coming over from France. She was being odds on her first start and then went about 13 lengths clear of 3rd with Nap Hand last time out. She's only got to carry 11 stone 2. The Cheltenham entry means that she might be half decent. Nico doesn't ride loads of big outsiders in handicaps like this. I guess the Jockey's Cup 500 grand plays into that a touch, but also the fact that she might actually be half decent. So she's a big price. She hasn't got to carry that much weight. I'd say she could be in the mixer.
Okay, big price. La Pinsonniere then for Nicky Henderson, Nico de Boinville at a big price. Right, got a big field 3 mile handicap chase as well. Got the regular Victorino line up here. Teresita won one of these when we last saw her 4 weeks ago. And Hastings who's looking for a hat trick. Another competitive one, but I'm guessing, Frankie, Charlie Deutsch, does he sway in his favour of Victorino?
Oh, wow. You remember back in December, Matt, this would be a right long shot if I can land this. I'd look much cleverer than I am. Cleverer being the key word. 3 under through 5 when we were having a look at the handicaps, this kind of same sort of 3-mile handicap at Ascot back in December. I said I expect a reasonable run from him, but I imagine the target would to come back this time of year and have another crack when he's down a couple of pounds. He finished third. He was dropped £2. Last year he won this off 150. This year he comes here off 153. He's got a £7 swing in the weights with Victorino, who did, get the better of him quite easily last time out. But Paul Nicholls hasn't had the best season, as we all know. Has he slightly started to turn a corner? Are some of his horses running a bit better? I think so. And I'd say he's not a bad each way bet, 3 under through 5. I'd be disappointed if he wasn't in the frame under Harry Cobden. And I reckon this would have been the plan, having won it last year for quite a while, and he hasn't been dropped loads, but 153 is workable. It puts him closer in the weights to the likes of Victorino.
Okay, then 3 under 3-5 to land a decent pot. Joel?
Yeah, I like 3 under 3-5 as well. I watched the race back last night again. Last time out was not fit, so I agree with what Frankie just said, but I really like Ansam in this. For Evan Williams and Adam Wedge. Watching a couple of those races back again last night. I mean, the horse was off for a year and a half. The horse needs to make all. Adam Wedge was a non-toucher last time. And this time, I think I'm really pretty confident on Ansam. A horse with a lot of ability, getting back to full fitness. And I think this weekend could be the day. 3 o'clock, Ascot, Ansam makes all and wins. Hopefully as well, the price won't crash if his owners put a tenner on each way each.
Do you think this is simple, Matt? I'm guessing from the way you teed it up, Victorino could just go and win again.
I don't know. I'm finding Venetia's horses now really tricky to weigh up. She's blowing hot and cold in like fortnightly spells. But Ascot is a funny cusp. A lot of these have won at the track before. So he's up again in the weight. So maybe it is the time to take him on. He 7-2. He is short enough, and this is probably one of the deepest handicaps that he's taken on. You got the improving Hastings in here as well. Snipe down the bottom has been consistent for the skeleton. So maybe this is a little bit trickier than those that he has been facing. This is the interesting race, though. It's a Grade 1. It's the last Grade 1 that Paul Nicholls won. Incredibly, he goes for it again with Pic Doree, but Corbett's Cross, what an intriguing contender! Almost a mile and a quarter shorter than his National Chase success last season, Frankie. But Ruby Walsh made a really good point on Racing TV. This could sharpen up his fencing and his speed. We know he's got the stamina, and this looks like a nice stepping stone to the Gold Cup.
His fencing, that'd be a new game for him. Yeah, I agree, Matt. It's an interesting race, isn't it? Obviously, Corbett's Cross, long press. This is kind of teeing them up for the Gold Cup. Pic Doree, my worry with him is how little we've seen of him this year in comparison to last year, and the fact that he didn't exactly dominate what was a relatively weak field in the 1965 chase. I would have my concerns about him. So I agree. I think Corbett's Cross could have a real good chance here. Emmett Mullins is operating at a 34% strike rate. You can come here without having the toughest race due to the distance. You can still have a good race here, but it's not going to be an absolute slog. So I think you're more than happy to come and have a crack here and then go to the Gold Cup. It's kind of, as you said, the perfect sort of race. Ran a little bit quicker to sharpen his jumping up, but not long enough to absolutely bottom him for the Gold Cup. So I really like Corbett's Cross. I'd say he hopefully can put in quite a dominant performance in this field.
Yeah, I mean, the trip is the question mark with the speed. But you're right, Pic, only seen him once. He's missed loads of other engagements, like obviously the Sylvian Arc of Conti that he normally goes for those 2.5 miles that he normally cleans up. And you're right, he did kind of scramble home in a weaker renewal. Lahon Press just got up to win the Cotswold Chase with Stage Star. He's not even anywhere near the Gold Cup. They were just testing his stamina on that day, and they were probably quite surprised that he lasted out. And Lahon Press, he was getting weight off him. So, Phlegmatic, he's not good enough. Blue Lord up in trip, is that a little experiment as well? Le Patron probably outrun his price, but I agree. I think Corbett's Cross is a cracking bet this weekend. And I'm not sure if Joel's nodding or shaking his head.
I went through circles around this race, first of all. I mean, hidden depths, what's the poundage between that and Pickjoy? It's got like 25 pounds, something like that. I think we've seen the best of the favourite. I think that's it done. Then I went on to Long Press. Won't be running straight at Ascot. We'll be lugging into stands. I really like Corbett's Cross here. Some people have said we're only 3.5 weeks away from Cheltenham. You know, I want to keep the horse fresh, but I subscribe to what Frankie was saying about, you know, a lovely prep run, brush up the jumping. And this started me thinking, am I backing Corbett's Cross, you know, not to win, but to place in the Gold Cup before this race is run? I really like Corbett's Cross here.
That's what some of us may have already done for it, Joel.
Oh, really?
Well, something's got to come second or third, hasn't it?
Yeah, did you not back Sagino at 8-1 as well?
I don't think he's the worst bet either, Matt, for the Gold Cup. That's been his target for the year. That's what he's trained for.
Exactly, yeah. It's interesting to come here. I mean, obviously he didn't go to the Irish Gold Cup and none of the other trials, so they decided to come here. So they know he stays. He might just sharpen up his speed as well around this trip. So yeah, no, I'm with him. I'm certainly with him. Right, let's move to Haydock. These veterans races are always so competitive. We've only got 6 here, but again, it's a really tight makeup, Joel.
It is. I was about a mile from Haydock last night, stuck in that bloody awful roundabout at Haydock Island. Frankie never comes up north, so you've never seen it. It's the worst roundabout in the world ever. It's horrendous. I was coming back from Wigan last night, and I was just checking what the weather was like, because I was hoping for a lot of rain this weekend, the old Haydock heavy, and I think it genuinely will be good to soft this weekend. There'll be no lies. I really like Whistle in the Dark in this race, a week turnaround from last week. I did back it last week, and it was beaten by Lamilos, which drove me insane. I think the horse will make all. Whistle in the Dark. I really like this horse. I think, look, was it dropped £2 as well from last week? 120. Am I getting this right?
I'm saying, he's up 120, yeah.
Yeah, 120. No, I think this is a really strong bet. 6-1 is an outrageous price.
All right, and I'm guessing Frankie may agree on the back of that Lamilos form, because I know he's a big fan, or not?
Yeah, I think so. Whether or not the quick turnaround puts you off is, I guess, factored into the price. To be honest, it does put me off a bit. If this was ran a couple of weeks later and that form tied in with Lamilos, I'd give Whistle in the Dark a massive chance. I think the favourite can run well, to be honest. Just being pretty consistent. I look for that quite a lot in these veteran races. One, that they're running consistently, and two, that they're doing it over this 2.5 mile trip, because I feel like there is quite a difference between the older horses that can operate at 2.5 versus the 3 and the 3 mile plus veteran races. So I feel like you've got to retain a touch more speed in these 2.5 races, and those that consistently show up in them usually run all right. So I'm with the Fav purely because Whistle in the Dark are just worried about that quick turnaround. But I can see what Joel's saying.
Okay, then, against it.
The favourite being Eton Kalina, by the way, because I'm looking at it and there's joint favourites.
Yeah, it's a really competitive market. What about the Rendlesham then? Beauport is your favourite. He's had a great season, hasn't he? An incredible third. Do we take that form at face value, though? Because there's been disappointments from it, that Ascot race. Nemean Lion trying 3 miles for the first time as well, Joel.
Yeah, I really like Nemean Lion. Watched that race back at was it Windsor? And Kerry Lee came on the TV and said, no, I really do fancy this horse this weekend. I think it was about 10-1 when she said that, and it went off pretty short. In that race was good old Langadan, Iberico Lord, and something else, Blue King of Napoli. Or something. Yeah, that was in there. It beat Salva of the Moors when they weren't in form.
Nice horse.
Yeah, it's a nice horse. And it beat Lemoncello by 5 lengths at Hereford, if that means anything. But I know they were looking for a step up in trip. Really good horse off the flat. They have been saying right from the start, been very open and honest about the horse. It is quite delicate, and it's got legs that are made of glass, so won't run it on anything where good's in the description. However, is Haydock good to soft, so that's heavy anywhere else. So the step up in trip, the ground will be no problem, and it's a horse banging form. And Kerry Lee's coming back into form as well, really. Small sample size, but I think she's 2 from 8 or something like that in the past fortnight off the top of my head. So come on, the Keza.
Okay. Well, I'm not Mr. Wilson, though.
Yeah. Hey, he's coming back, the lad. Look out for him.
Frankie, what wins of Rendlesham?
I agree. The main line. I'll give him a chance. Stepped up in trip. I like the form of the race that Joel was talking about at Windsor, with Salva in there. I think he's a really nice horse for the Moors. Obviously, it's a bit of an unknown going to 3 miles, but I reckon his class might see him through.
Just a couple of massive. I mean, my horse to follow for the season was Kerry Hill. We've seen him once. He was pulled up in the big stay in Handicap on Betfred Chase Day. But do you remember the money that was for him for the Cleve before he's pulled out? A lot of money for him, and as we're recording now, he's training around about 25-1. So hopefully the 8 go. Definitely having a little bit of him each way because there's a lot of money for him that day. And I've seen Indiana Dream as well going back over hurdles for O'Neill Racing after he was 4th at Windsor on his stable debut. He's of interest as well. Right, what a race this is! Grand National Trial. We have got last year's winner. We've got the 1-2 from the Welsh Grand National. We've got the Haydock specialist Royal Pagai's on a comeback mission. No Charlie Deutsch, of course. Sean Bowen on board. We've got Gallia de Leteau as well. We've got Fontaine Calange, irregular here. I mean, it's a brilliant reel. Frankie, what wins it?
It's a proper race, isn't it? I think you've gone through the field without mentioning my fancy. Or maybe I missed it. Famous Bridge, who is a bit of a specialist around here himself, unseated in this race last year, but he's pretty consistent at these staying trips. He comes here only a couple of pounds higher than when he went off favourite in it last year and unseated. 139, yeah, a couple of pounds lower. Whereas the likes of Man and another in here have all been climbing the weights. He seems to have got away with coming back and having a crack off a slightly handier mark. I don't see why he can't run a big race and at an each way price. You know that he stays and he'll give his all. Comes here a little bit fresher as well, after being beaten at Haydock in December. A touch more of a break than he might have had last year, having missed the race at Donny in January. So I was surprised he's not shorter, considering you know what you get with him. And as I mentioned, he hasn't climbed the handicap ranks as much as some of the others. I am nervous of the Fav Gitmaker. Could just be a bit of a Jamie Snowden and Gav Sheehan special. Obviously had the spin over Windsor, over hurdles to get him fresh for this, and look second to I Know the Way You're Thinking at Cheltenham, who's gone up about however many pounds, could be like 25 pounds. He was better than that race in the Kingwell. Is obviously very good form. So the favourite will have a great chance, but I just think Famous Bridge is a proper honest each way bet.
Yeah, I mean, you say you're on about Jeepmaker. It is wide open, is it? It's around about 11-2 the field at present. But Royal Pagai keeps half the field out the handicap, Joel. And some fancied horses, Famous Bridge, Jeepmaker, Valdanza, Jubilee Express, all got to carry more weight than they should because of the classy top weight.
Yeah, I think the best bet in this race is to bet that there'll be 5 different favourites before post time in the hour building up to it. Look, it's a great race. I don't know if it's a great betting proposition here. I'm trying to make a case for everything. Even Apple Away is probably the outside of the field, or was last night. And if I was given a free bet for this, I think I would have to take Royal Pagai. I don't think you ever get in 8-1 again on Royal Pagai around Haydock. It's only blotted the copybook a couple of times, including last time out and pulled up in the Peter Marsh. That was a month ago. I don't see any negative whatsoever, even though as much as we like Charlie Deutsch, I don't see any negative with Sean Bowen. He is absolute top class and is probably, in my top 3 jockeys. The ground could maybe do with a little more rain. There were a few snowflakes around Haydock last night. So if they get into the ground, that'd be better. Look, we've got 11-year-olds, a lot of weight, but I'll just have a go. And I keep stakes down unless you really fancy something in here. I think it'd be a great race to watch. And let's just hope they don't all come back knackered on really dirty ground. Okay, then. That's the Grand National Trial. So the weights are out now, so they don't have to hide their light under bushels anymore. What about the Kingwell Wincanton, the 136?
supposed champion hurdle trial, and that's where Burdick Road, I guess, is going to rock up. Got to give £8 though to Golden Ace and Jeremy Scott. Sources in much better form than they have been. Brentford Hope as well, in then Hansard Complete. He looks outclassed. 4 to choose from. Frankie?
Brentford Hope, I think, can run a big race, who will not have to travel far for Harry Derham, relatively local trainer who likes to have his winners at Wincanton. And I just like the fact that he pushed Rubor not close at the start of the season, but he gave him a race, who's another nice horse and another horse that races well round Wincanton. I feel like he's somewhat overpriced, Brentford Hope. I know it's a small field, but I could see him running a big race for Harry Derham.
Okay, Brentford Hope then, second in the elite. Can he win the Kingwell? What do you fancy, Joel?
I was looking at Burdett Road, was 8 to 13 last night, into 8 to 11 this morning, and I've just popped on now at even money. I think Burdett Road makes all wins. I would normally look at the value and go, oh, Golden Ace against, for the value, but I think Burdett Road just makes all wins. Sam Twiston-Davis on board. Thank you very much. James Owen, having a flyer. I think it's one for, because at the weekend, you're lucky 15s and also even money. Yeah, have a nice little stick on.
Burdick Road then, to win that en route to the champion hurdle. Right, boys, what are the best bets of the weekend, Frankie?
I'll let you have Corbett's Cross, Matt. Because I want to throw in Malta Bene in the first. Big price. Let's hope for a big run in the first race at Ascot. Charlie Longston and Lily Pinchin with Malta Bene.
Okay, yes, I will have Corbett's Cross. Thank you very much. Joel?
I'm going for a race that will only be on Racing TV, and it's the 350 at Haydock. 4 from 4. Derry Hassan Paddy.
Oh, I like that. But you're not allowed, Joel. That's not the rules. Wrong race.
Well, all right. Well, I'll put it up as one to watch then. I think it's around 33s40 for the Albert Bartlett. And my mate I didn't go to the Grand National Weight to Lunch this year. I'll be honest with you, I forgot about it, and I'm still in trouble from getting on the wrong train last year and end up in Sheffield when Ruby Walsh put me on the wrong train. So I didn't go this year, but my mate was talking to Lucinda Russell, who just confirmed that, really, really looking forward to this horse this weekend. And he's very confident. Pardon?
9 to 4.
No, yeah, I think he's.
Yeah, I think it's a definite nap this weekend. What you want? You want one on the telly?
No, that's fine. No, I
like it. Sorry, if we're changing the rules, then when it's a suit him. What if that horse last week that I gave up at 25 to 1 wasn't on the telly? Oh, I won't mention it then, shall I not? Oh my God.
You've never lived by the rules. You make it up as you go along anyway. So no, I like Derry Hassan Paddy. Look, it's a cracking race. It's still a grade 2, isn't it? It's just ITV have to be over at Ascot for their big one. So yeah, no, Derry Hassan Paddy. I think Haydock will suit him better than Windsor did, and he still did well to win that race last time. It was a Honky Tonk Highway challenged him, wasn't it? I think so. Yeah, big fan of him. Right, loads covered. Hopefully they'll line your pockets as we close in on the festival. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and then you get notified whenever we've got a Punters guide or a Road to Cheltenham. Our next one will be on Monday, and we'll look back on this weekend's action and our latest anti-post picks for the greatest show on turf, which is edging ever nearer. We'll have you back in this weekend, though. The very best of luck.